My name is Gary Nix. Actually, I'll do my introduction of myself on the slide in a little bit. But this subject matter is really powerful. It really helps a lot of people to put themselves in a better place. A FICO score. A lot of people, we're going to talk about the myths of it. I think we might as well get started. We got people on Facebook Live and people on Zoom, so that's cool. All right, let's get started because we want to get it done in 30 minutes.
Hold on, Gary, okay?
1 hour.
Let me just fix this.
Okay. A little technical difficulty with the slides today. Okay. Thank you. All right. So we're going to talk about the power of FICO score. What does it matter about FICO score? Let's go to the next slide so we can just get started with it. Okay. So my name is Gary Nix with the Gary Nix team. I've been in real estate for close to 20 years now. Been in over 600 transactions. So goal is to help people to move forward. It's really more than selling real estate. It's helping people to go from one level of life to another level. So that's my passion. Let's keep the slide going. So talking about the power of FICO score, I wanted to start with the first 3 myth understanding about credits. And I'm going to ask for some audience participation on this one. Let me see people I'm seeing on the screen. Sister Sade, can you read the first myth, the top part of that? I think you need to unmute yourself. Okay.
Okay, the first one is I don't need credits.
Okay. And this is something a lot of people say that, oh, I don't want to hold anything, so therefore I'm not going to have any credit. I pay everything I want to spend on cash. It's a mindset. It's a mindset for people to think cash is king. Yes, cash is king. When you have cash, it's great, but you do need credit. You can't do without it because there's no way you can go. Hey, you can want to travel. You want to take a ticket to you want to go to Florida, right? You're not going to go to the airline and give them cash. You're going to need to use your credit card, to purchase it. The thing is just being responsible with that credit card. All right, let's go to myth number 2. All right, let me see. Paula, you're on the line. Let's see if you can help us on that one.
Debt. I don't want debt and be in debt with the man.
That's right. That's a really good saying. I don't want the man to, I don't want to owe the man any debt. I want to be in control of my life. There is some power to you having control of your life, but you also can have this power in having great credit. Actually, you have more power with having great credit than you don't. So you do need debt. You just need a good debt, and you cannot you can't have a quality life without debt, because anything you want to have, you can have. You want to go buy a car, that's costing you $70,000. You could have the $70,000, but why not spend $20,000 and keep $50,000 in your pocket and just make payments on the rest, right? You may have $1 million in your hand to buy a house,
right?
But why not spend $200,000 on one house or buy 5 houses? Spend a little bit of it, you hold the rest, and you'll pay that, and you will gain more wealth that way. It's just thinking like that that's going to get us to a higher level. Okay, I think we may need to mute some people.
I'm muting myself.
Okay, thank you. All right, so myth number 3. Winnie Clement, can you read that for me?
Oh, I don't want to be too straight. I want an healthy life.
Okay. So you being straight or hedgy does not debar you from having good credit. It shows you have wisdom. So being straight means it's again, you want to be, people want to be prolifically clean, where okay, everything I spend, I have it. And that's, again, there's some power to that, but the truth is you can get more on credit than you can by yourself. It's just using wisdom in how we will move forward with our credit usage. All right, so let's go to the next slide. So I want us to imagine a world of endless possibilities, right? Imagine that you get to be the best of the best. You get the best of the cake. You resolve the very best sitting in any event. You suffered less than anyone. Your payment is always less than anybody else. This is what good credit does for us. You get considered for anything you want. I just want to give you guys an example of this. I think I went to Best Buy and I wanted to buy this TV. And the TV is like $5,000. This new 4K, whatever type of TV. And so the guy's like, okay, you can buy it with your credit card, or you can buy it with a Best Buy credit card and you have no payments for 18 months. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. You know, so long as I pay it off in 18 months, there's no charge to it. I'm like, all right, that's like cash in 18 months. However, if you want me to get it, I don't want you to just give me a $5,000 credit. Why don't you give me a $15,000 credit? And I'm going to tell you the reason why I said that. Is that one of the reasons why people's credit go up and down is their balances. Can you go back a little bit? Okay, thank you. It's the balances that they keep. So you always have to be mindful that your balances are less than 50%, less than 30%. And if it's 50%, get it less than 30%. So this case, I'm gonna buy this thing like cash. I don't have to, bring up the $5,000 out of my pocket. And the credit I'm getting is gonna be around 33%, and I can quickly pay down the next month to be under 30. So the guy's like, well, I don't know, 15,000 is a lot of money. I haven't seen somebody done that before. I said, well, that's the only way I'll use your credit. Otherwise, I'll use my credit. And he said, okay, well, let's try it. So they went and did it, and they approved it. So the reason, again, it just allows you'll be like paying cash for that TV, but you're building up another trade line. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, without costing you a negative on your credit, because automatically you're going into it at 33%. The very first payment you make, you're under 30, and then you want to get it under 10 and then pay it off. So nothing comes easy, but everything are results of our choices. So let's bring it home for you. All right, next slide. Okay, so I want to talk about these two brothers. If you've been in this presentation before, you probably heard about it. The two brothers is really like any two people you have or or comparing yourself to another friend. And these are the things that makes a difference in, you see some people doing the same job, making the same money, and having one person struggling through everything they're doing, and the other person living in abundance, right? So we're gonna explore what these two brothers are doing and what's making the difference in them, okay? So they're gonna buy the same type of car that's worth $50,000, and they both put the same down payment. So basically, they are earning the same income. They make the same money, and they have the same kind of savings, right? So let's see the difference. Let's go to the next slide. So this is an auto loan calculator. I want you guys to see, buying a $50,000 car, the first brother has a below average credit, 588. That's what in car dealership, they're gonna say, we're gonna do special financing for you, right? So it's gonna do 72 months of financing with $10,000 down payment. So that's 20% down for the car, which is great, right? The payment is gonna be $822. All right, so you look at that and say, okay, that's manageable. You know, obviously it's making pretty good money. It's got the savings, right? So you got $822. Well, let's take a look at the next brother. So here is the same brother, doing the same deposit, same time, but here, because he has great credit, his payment is $616. Now we're talking for 72 months, that's 6-year term. If you are saving almost $200 in payment, what avenues are open to you because of that? Now again, the income is the same, right? Making the same income, discipline in savings the same way. But because for the next 6 years, right, somebody is paying $200 more on the same car. What avenues did that? So this is why you see the other person like, okay, this guy is always going to lunch with people, you know, it's always going on a vacation. These are the reasons for that. And that's why I wanted to see if we can call in the value of the great life we can have when we build this good credit. It really allows us to connect it to our heart. So we say, okay, I want the very best life for myself. How do I do that? So this is a clear example. You know, $200 every month. I mean, it could be going to McDonald's, you know, once a week. A couple more times going to Starbucks, right? That's $30, $40. You still got a whole lot of money. Can go to the movies once a week. Like, can you imagine you have a friend, you're making the same money, like, okay, I'm paying my car note, I don't have much to go. And then you hear the other person say, oh yeah, I just went to the movies so time. Oh, I took a drive to, they can even go after 3 months of saving, they've got $600. They can take a trip to Las Vegas, right? So these are the little element that gives us the ability to have that better lifestyle or not. All right, so let's go to the next slide. Now, the same brother decided they want to buy a house. Brother one with a 580 score decided to buy a house with 10% down. Again, this guy's got some money, some good income. A $650,000 property. It can only do FHA because his credit is not as great, right? So his payment, even though he's putting 10% down on the property, right? His payment come to about $4,000, and this is based on a couple of months ago rate. But let's just look at this particular, we're looking at the rate at the time. And, you know, putting $79,000, almost $80,000 down, his payment is $4,000 a month. And that's for the next 30 years, okay? Again, it doesn't look like it's bad. Everybody can do that. And for $1,000 a month, you know, you can rent a place for that. You can rent a 2-bedroom for that. Well, let's go to the next slide. So again, the other brother with a better credit is putting 10% down. Now it's a conventional loan, not an FHA loan. So less mortgage insurance, less interest rate from the other person. His payment for the next 30 years is $3,500. I just want us to see these things, that $500 every month this guy will be saving because of having good credit. You know, it's really important when we see this, it gives us clarity to, oh, okay, what do I have to do to get this thing right? And that's the journey we're gonna take. And I just want you to know, stay in there. I have a lady that's gonna come on that had credit, even had, I believe, a foreclosure, and raised credit up to 835. The possible highest you can have is 850. So the journey is there. You know, that's one thing that's great about this country, right? It doesn't matter where you have been. If you are focused and you put your plan together, you can get anywhere you want in 90 days or less. In 90 days or less, if you're focused, it doesn't matter what it is. And when I meet people, I try to let them know, listen, the best thing you could have done was yesterday. The next best thing you can do is today, right? You can take action today. You can't do anything with what's happened yesterday. We've all been there. I've had a foreclosure on my record. I've had a short sale. I've had 2 short sales on my record. And yet, the reason why I'm passionate about sharing this stuff with people is to let you know it's still possible to turn that around. I had a friend, just going off my script for a minute, that at one time, even this was before I got into real estate, we were both into like real estate investing, and he was doing great. He would go put his name down on a new construction, and before the new construction is up and ready to go, it's already appreciate 100,000. It will just sell it right after it's done. And it do that like in 6 different construction companies. And it was great. It was just making, it was making money. And I wasn't doing the same thing, but I was doing pretty well. And then the market collapsed, and he just gave up the ghost. I'm like, what are you talking? You were making like $1 million a year. And you just said, no, I'm not going to do anything anymore. And it took him a while to come back on to say it's going to do something. Even though I kept telling him, listen, I was there with you. I lost, I did a foreclosure on a home, but I found a way to turn back and go get another home, And then the next one we got is start building equity, and we start growing, the wealth start growing again. And it took this person. So I don't want that to be anybody's journey here. It's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter where we've been. It really matters what we see today. I don't like to go too scriptural on people, but there is a word in the good book that talks about, try me in this and see if I will not look through the windows of heaven and show you something new. And, when you look at the windows, a window is somewhere you look through and you see daylight. And some days you wake up, the cloudy day, right? You can't see too well. And someday you look and you have clarity. You can see everywhere. So I'm hoping today it will be a day that somebody will see light and say, okay, let me take this action to create this different result for myself. All right, so let's put on the slide to go to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, so FICO score is rated by 3 companies, 3 major companies. I'm sure everybody knows about this: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So sometimes you deal with a financial institution and they report on one of these 3. Sometimes you deal with a financial institution and they report on 2 of these things, of this bureau. And sometimes you deal a financial transaction and they report on all the 3. So it depends on what you're buying. If you're buying a car, they're just looking at the highest number of the 3. If you're buying a house, they're looking at the middle number of the 3. It's hardly you find any financial institution in making a decision on your credit and using the lowest credit you have. It's either the highest one or the middle one. But I'm gonna say for today's, because I'm in real estate and I know with real estate, they always look at the middle score. So our goal is to focus on what all these three are reporting. You could have a 601, a 700, and a 750. Guess what? Your middle score is a 700. That's the rating with which they're gonna make a decision on your file. All right, let's go to the next slide. And the other thing to be aware of is a trade line. A trade line is a record of activity for any type of credit extended to a borrower and reported to the credit bureau. So basically, like I was saying, it's a trade line that goes into one of these. So if you have a student loan, that's one trade line, right? If you have revolving credit, that's another trade line. Now, if you have more revolving credit, that means a credit card, if it's a jewelry thing, that's a revolving credit, something you can use and pay down, use and pay down. Then if you have like a car note, a car note is a fixed loan payment, just like a mortgage is. It's a fixed loan payment. So it's not revolving. It doesn't go up and down unless you refinance it or something, right? It's a fixed loan payment for an extended period of time. So I just want you also to be the one that they judge you the most on. Student loan, it's just student loan. It's one trade line, basically. And most of the time they report it in two different bureau. It's not all the three that report student loan. So if you need to have a middle score and all you have is student loan, you have to have another score, another trade line added to it. So I just want people to have clarity on what these lenders look at. And I believe I'm going to have one of my special on the line soon. It promised me it will be on. We'll see. Hopefully it's not on Facebook. Next slide, please. Slide. So the power is in our hands. What we do with our credit is in our hands. How we make choices on using those credit is in our hands. It's not in anybody's hand. We've got the control. We just got to be aware of it and do it right, right? So let's talk about how do we shift this power to our hands. Again, we're gonna talk about, the different ways you go back and forth. So let's talk about that. Next slide. Communication is the key thing. So if you had, we just went through 2 years of COVID, where the government also gave us a lot of latitude to being protected against our credit. But you got to communicate this to your lender. You got to communicate this to your financial institution in order for them to help you. I want you to know really clearly that there's no financial institution that's looking at your credit and say, okay, this is a black girl or a black guy, we want to repress him. No, there's nobody doing that. It's just you have to communicate to them, hey, I'm going through this and that because of COVID, I have to stay home. That was a good excuse for a whole lot of people, right? Matter of fact, I think they reported a lot of mortgage people that didn't pay. So people were thinking there was foreclosure. I said, no, there's no foreclosure. People were just taking advantage of government guidelines, where they're not making payment. But the bank cannot report them as late, so long as they report to the bank. So you have to let the bank know, hey, because of COVID, I'm taking off for an extended period of time. When I get back on, I'll come back to be making my payment. You can go, some people went on for 6 months. Some people went for a year of not making payment. And people are thinking, oh, because people haven't making payment, there's going to be a lot of foreclosure. No, they were just strategically doing that. I'm not a party to that, but I understand that, right? But the key thing is to communicate to these banks, even if it's not COVID, if it's just you lost your job, if you communicate to them and say, listen, I lost my job, I don't want you to report me late. I can't make a payment. They will ask you, can you make your minimum payment? You know, if you say no, they say, okay, we'll give you 90 days. We'll give you 60 days. They will give you that time and they won't report you late. But what happened with most of us is that, okay, I can't make the payment and we just stress and we don't make any call. And they will even call us. Most bank will not report you late until after they communicate with you. And they will send you email, they'll call your phone, leave voicemail. And if you don't respond, 30 days later, except for, at least in my experience, Synchrony Bank, don't mess with that bank. And they own a lot of small credit cards, for retailers. So don't mess with them. If you're 30 days late with them, they're gonna report you 30 days late. And it's tough to get them to excuse you. But again, even with them though, if you call them up, you will see so much latitude that they will give you, so much opportunity you have there. All right, next slide. And in part of the communication is to answer every call you get from creditors. Don't say, oh, because I'm down, I don't want to answer anybody's call. No, answer their call. It's just like if you're dealing with your child and you say, daughter, I need to do this thing. Go do your homework, and they don't do it, and you keep telling them, go do your homework. I'm telling you, and then they come back and say, oh, mom or dad, I got a D. It pisses you off. It aggravates you, and that's just the same way it is with creditors. If they call us and we don't respond, that's what gets them to put us on 30 days late. And a new 30-day late on your credit can drop you sometimes 100 points, just like that. I literally went through that. I had a gentleman that's obviously a very well-to-do person, has, I think it shows like 18 properties on his credit. And his daughter is a medical, what do you call it? Well, it's a medical doctor, I think in training, whatever they call, a doctor that's in their 4-year program. And he wants to buy a house for her. He was gonna put $200,000 down for her on it, but he needs to co-sign because she's got, all the student loan against whatever income she's gonna be getting from the hospital. And they run his credit, and just because it just missed a late payment on one of his mortgages, it dropped to 602. And he was so upset about that because I think somebody else actually make his payment for him. It's well-to-do guy. But even though he's well-to-do guy, so he understands unless he pay cash, they're gonna kill his daughter in payment. And he was really mad, like, okay, let me go back home and talk to my financial person that didn't do this thing right, and see if we can get the bank to reverse. And the bank said, no, we're not gonna reverse it. It was legit. The payment was not made. And the person said, I make the payment, but I think, one of those, which has happened to me before too, where you think you make the payment and then you click back on your screen and it took the payment processing off.
Yeah.
But it's like that. Now they gotta wait the time. Once they wait another 6 months, it will be back on decent credit. But that's the key to answering this call, because I'm pretty sure in that situation, they got a call, they got an email, and sometimes we just say, oh, I already made that payment. No. Yeah, and I remember Target. Target just sent me a letter like, you need to use your credit, otherwise we have to close it. And what pisses me off is I had them about 5 years ago. I paid it down to 0, but even when you pay it down to 0, you have previous interest that they're gonna send to you on your next statement. And I'm just thinking I already paid it to 0, so I don't need to worry about any Target mail. And I did not open it. It was a $15 pay. I did not open it. So 60 days later, that's a 30-day late on my credit. I'm like, no. And I did get the call. and I did get the letter, but I didn't open it and I didn't attend to the call. So yeah, it's not that everybody, I'm not saying I'm out of this. I fixed that though. So I just want everybody to be mindful. It can happen to any one of us, but we can still move forward. Okay. All right. Next slide. So this is really simple. It's just communicate your situation always. Our excuse, a lot of things happen in our mind. A lot of good and great things happen in our mind. And a lot of unfortunate defeat also happen in our mind. When we think we are defeated, then we are, right? Because, oh, this something is happening to me, I can't get away from it. No, but really the system is set up for second chances. The system is set up for second, third, fourth chances. Even people that go to jail, they can come out of jail and become great, right? So, and really the world, if you're somebody that's reads the Bible or any biblical stories, I always tell people about Moses. Moses had a second chance, and yet, he was a murderer at one time, right? And yet it lead a nation into their promised land. So the world is set up for second chances. We just gotta communicate. When God called Moses and he said, no, I'm a murderer, I don't want to talk, then he won't be able to do anything he wants to do. But because he answered the call and see himself worthy to go do whatever he was told, it make a difference in his life and in a whole lot of other people's life. So our decision making is not just for us, it's for people around us. If we save $200 a month in car payment, or we save $500 a month in mortgage payment, what would that be around us? If you have a kid, you have a niece or a nephew, it just gives you more you can do with them, right? That $200 you go do shopping for them, they're gonna be pretty happy, right? So it's just those little things that we need to be aware of. Next slide. Respond to every threat of collections. Now, this is the big part. Collections is where, our points can drop 50 to 100 points, especially medical collections. And a lot of this is justification in our mind. I remember I had this one lady like, no, I'm justified. They're not supposed to charge me that. That's why I won't pay. That's why I won't pay. No, wrong kind of fight. Wrong kind of fight. Never allow them to put collection in you. If they send you a threat that, look, this payment has not been made, it's going to go into collection, get on the phone, give them a call. Hey, this is not me and mine, especially when it comes to mobile phone, your previous carrier, you move to a new carrier, they charge you something, blah, blah. I recently canceled a cable company. And I canceled it because I'm not renting. I used to do an Airbnb at this house, so I had cable there. And when I went to turn in the equipment, I said, do I owe anything? I paid the last payment. The lady's like, no, you're clear. And then 2 months later, I got a bill for $103. And again, I could say, hey, I call you guys, blah, 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 blah. No, just make that payment. Don't let it go to collection on your name, because again, that's going to drop you, off. So that's just, we just got to make the call to take care of business. Next slide. A $50 collection can bring you down 100, scores. So you don't want that. You want your credit going up, not going down. And when you're up, so we still have a lot to cover on this slide. I don't want to, oh Lord, time is flying. Is Sokolay on the line? Okay. All right, let's go.
Jerry, I'm here, Jerry.
Oh, okay. Is that Ed?
This is Manny.
Oh, Manny. Okay, great, great, great. Thank you, thank you. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm gonna quickly run through this, and then I have you make your comments on them. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Next, please. So never fully charge your revolving account. This is the main area where people's score goes down. Okay. You never charge your, if you have $1,000 credit limit, never charge it full, no matter what it is. Instead, ask for increase in your credit and then make your purchase. You can't make your purchase and then ask for credit limit because now they see you're already full. So if you have a $500 credit limit on a card, and you have a $200 balance, and then you went to a store, you need to make a purchase for $300. Call your credit company, like, hey, can you move me to $1,000? So that way you still make that $300 payment, it still bring you under 50%, and then quickly pay down as soon as you can. All right, next please. Keep your revolving accounts under 30%. Really, this is where you are in the 700 FICO score and above. If you always keep your revolving credit under 30%. So it doesn't mean you can go up. You can go up 50%, but no, at the end of that month, you're gonna bring it down under 30%. You can even go up 70%, but bring it down under 30%. Next. Okay. Stuff. Okay. So never be late on your payments. This is the killer one here. Manny, actually, let me get your involvement on this one. What does late payments do to people?
It could really bring your credit scoring down quite a bit. I've seen a 30-day late drop people 60 to 100 points for one 30-day late.
Yep.
So it could really affect your scores. And you were talking about the debt ratio earlier on credit cards. The algorithm right now, you want to be below 25% at all times.
Okay.
And sometimes, let's say you have 1,000 limit, okay? You charged $500, so you're 50% in debt, right? When it comes to making your payment, you want to bring it down to that 25% mark. So instead of making one payment of $250, make two payments, $125 and $125. So the first 2 weeks, $125, the second 2 weeks, $125. Every time you make a payment, they rate you with the credit bureau. So it kind of pushes up and increases your scoring a lot faster.
Okay, thank you. So basically what you're saying is
Sure.
Don't say you have to make a payment once a month. If you can double it
Correct.
up each time you pay, it's gonna help you even further.
Yes.
Great. All right,
Correct.
next slide. So I just want people to know that I get it. We all in life, there are things that happen that we don't plan for it to happen. It's just life that happens, right? And always just remember to communicate to your lender prior to being late. If you communicate to them, I just had a death in my family. I have to take off from work. I'm not going to be working for the next 2 months. I'm not going to be able to make a payment. You can get them to resolve your account. I mean, it's unbelievable things that they will do for you when you make the call. All right. Next slide. Ugh. I think we still have a lot of slides here. Okay, so this is just quickly to say for people, we want to kind of take you on a journey. And by the way, I just want you guys to know, Manny, can you introduce yourself so people know who you are?
Yes, sure. My name is Manny Mumja, and I'm with Easy Choice Credit Repair. I help a lot of consumers, especially from real estate agents or lenders or even attorneys. So anybody that needs credit help, even boosting credit scores within 30 days, I can definitely help them.
Awesome. So establishing credit, if you don't have any credit,
Yes.
just go through the slide so you can share that with them. Thank you.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Wendy, you move,
Hold
you
on.
move too quick.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, get a secured card. Okay, perfect. So a lot of people are trying to get secured credit cards, but they're not qualifying because they have bad credit. These are the normal banks that will turn you down. I have a link that I can send anybody that has a whole page of secured credit cards that are okay with bad credit. Okay, so you can get a secured card. Now here's what a lot of people do. I always ask them, how much do you put on a secured card? If they give you a minimum of 200 or a maximum of 3,000 that you can put in, how much would you put in? A lot of people are honest. They say, 200, 500, 300. And I say, okay, so is that how you want to be seen in the future, as that you don't have any money? And then they step back and they go, well, what do you mean? And I go, well, it's a secured card. They know it's your money. So if you put in 1,000 to 3,000, what do they know? They know you're trying to build your credit. The second thing they know is that you have money. So when you show them you have money, you're dangling the carrot in front of the creditor's eyes in the future. If you use it well, your utilization is low, you pay your payments on time, you're never late, guess what? You'll be getting credit card offers in the future that are a lot bigger than you can ever imagine. I have clients that they've done 1,500 on these secured cards. 8 months later, they're getting $7,000 to $10,000 credit card offers. And this is people with bad credit that we fixed, and then they got the secured cards to help establish, and they're getting these big offers. So it's really important how you do things for your future.
Awesome. So like he was saying, I said keep the balances under 30%, but he's saying actually keep it under 25%. And
Yes.
so these are the ways you can establish credit. The other one is to be an authorized user on someone else's credit. So if you had a partner, a parent, an uncle, sister that has good credit and good balance, low balances, you can have them add them to their credit. So that way you get the benefit of their score on that credit. Let's go to the next slide. We still got a lot of slides, and I want to get this thing down as promised. Okay, so and many you can,
You want me to touch on this?
Yeah.
Okay, so it says be willing to settle your collections. So you have to understand, guys, when you do settlements, it's going to go on your record if you don't communicate in the beginning that you're willing to pay with a deletion letter. Okay. If you don't have something in writing from a creditor saying that once you pay this amount, we will remove it from all 3 credit bureaus, you may be affecting your credit score. So as an example, if an account is within 24 months, so it's within a 2-year period, and you do a settlement, you may not lose points, but you may not gain anything either, because you're going to have a brand new settlement showing up once you make that payment. If it's no longer on your credit, you may gain about 30 to 50 points once you get that removed. It says decide to never be late on any payments and act on it. Yes, so there are ways that you can set up payments online where they automatically come out, or you can be one of those people that charge something and pay it off at the end of the month. It's up to you how you want to do that. It says keep balances under 30% as much as you can. Absolutely. You don't want to charge more if you don't have to, but if you do, just make sure you pay it down to that 25 to 30% mark right before the statement date, okay, of your payments. Always communicate and answer your lender calls or letters. Yeah, absolutely, guys. I mean, look, when you're trying to run away from somebody, you know what? These creditors, they don't care. It's like one click of a button, 30-day late, or they put you on their blacklist, and you don't want to be that person. You want to be someone that communicates, and then they like people like that, and they help you. All right.
Awesome. Next slide.
Get balances under 10% when you can. Okay.
So Just
Go ahead.
real quickly, Manny, I just want him to say the previous slide was going from bad to good. This is now going
Right.
from good to great. So bad means you're, 600 and under, to getting to good, like 650, 670. So now here you're going from good to great. You're going from 670, to 740. That's how
Correct.
you're getting a great credit. And yeah, go ahead and talk about this one.
So get balances under 10% when you can. Absolutely. You don't want to have too high of a debt ratio utilization issue, especially if you're trying to buy a home or you're trying to buy a car. The one thing I would always tell a consumer, if you're looking at buying a home and that's your goal, do not buy a car before you're going to do that. Okay, because adding a car loan or a home loan or a student loan, as he was mentioning earlier, these are called installment loans. So the installment loan is a fixed loan that has debt attached to it. So what does it do? It just drops your credit score, okay? Because you're adding a lot of weight, a lot of debt to your credit. So when you want to keep credit going for a long time, what this means, if you have a revolving account, which is a credit card, it could be a secured card, a bank card, it could be a department store or any gas card, jewelry store card, all these revolving accounts, you don't want to close them because you're upset at them, okay? Because they didn't do what you wanted them to do. Just make sure whatever your limit is, you stay under that 25% mark of what your balance should be. And don't close them, because when you close them, you're taking away your history, okay? And what Jerry was mentioning earlier about authorized user accounts, what you're actually getting when you add a trade line, you're getting that consumer's credit history on that account, okay? So the secret to those accounts are if they have good age, okay, and they have good limits, high limits, and very low balances. That's the key. And we understand sometimes, the relatives, they can help you with that, but some of them, they have debt ratio issues. So you don't want them to put you on if they owe more than 50% on their credit cards, okay? That might not help you. It says make them active from time to time. So that means you want to utilize those accounts. You don't want to keep them zero balance for too long. If you do, they will close them on you, okay? So you always want to use them, even if it's something small, okay? Just keep them active. That's how you score higher.
Okay, next slide, please. So this is just talking about habits, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everything is in our mind. If we change our habits, we can change our life. Somebody should write it down. Change your
That's a good one.
habits and you can change your life. So change bad habits to new ones. You deserve a great life, so choose the wise part. Change your thinking, change your world. Okay, just
Absolutely.
pick up the slide. I just want to let people know about one thing. I don't know if that's going to be in the next slide, but I want them to see the visual. Okay, so everything we do in life is as a result of what we have learned in life, what we know our parents do, what we see our friends do. Everything we do is a result of that. And honestly, if you have bad credit, it's because of what you've seen people around you do. So you have to change your thinking to change the world. So in my training, we always talk about, oh, okay, I think I need to go to the slide now before I start murmuring stuff. All right, go back to the slide. Okay, so next one. All right, this is exactly what I didn't want to be taking too much time thinking it through. So programming is how we are programmed, the knowledge, the thoughts, the feelings, the action, the results. So basically, the knowledge is what we know, what people around us have done, and that's how we think, right? Because that's the way Uncle so does it. That's the way Dad does it. That's the way Mom does it. So, and we feel that that's our right thing to do. And we find ourselves taking that same action, right? And having a disregard for credit, having a disregard for like, no, I am keeping my cash and all that stuff. So we get that result because of that. So what I'm inviting you today is, let's reprogram our thinking. Let's reprogram our mind. Let's reprogram this information and say, okay, no, that's getting me the bad result. I got to do it this new way. I got to be conscious of not paying, charging my credit full. I got to be conscious of any collection that comes, I'm going to answer it. Any creditor that comes, I'm their friend. They're going to help me. You see, when you change your mind about things, wonderful things are happening. When you think the creditors are after you because uncle or dad, tell you that's, oh, the creditors are coming after you, what I'm saying? And you think like that, then you're running away from them when they come. But if you not change your mind and say, they're trying to help me, who am I going to find that's going to help me today? Who am I going to talk to that's going to help me today? And the money I have to make wise decisions to pay down. Like Manny was saying, that you can pay down twice a month. Don't just wait till the end of the month. If you pay, let's say you have a credit balance of $1,000 and your minimum payment is $75. You pay $75 in the middle of the month and you pay $75 at the end of the month. What he's saying is that's going to help you because now they see that you're making effort to pay down. Now, the people that get 800 FICO score, I don't know. Oh my God, it's 11 o'clock. All right, let's go to the next slide. Is that the last one? Yeah, okay. So this is about living the best life possible. You see, when we reprogram our mind and we do these things, we give our chance to live the best life possible. Look at those two brothers. Think about that. Is there somebody in your life that you make the same money and they were doing much better in life than you are, right? They've accomplished more in life than you are. Okay, what's causing them to do that? It's really these simple steps. So it's making that clear, conscious decision that, okay, I'm gonna do it right going forward. Again, we can't control what's happened yesterday. What we can control is our life today and moving forward. Is that the best slide? Otherwise, you can take the slide out and we can do some Q&A. Is Dr. O on the line? I can't see everybody. I'm sorry, with my glasses, I can't see the Wendy, is that the last slide? Oh gosh.
I think it's another meeting. You need another meeting.
So how to dispute your credit. Okay, we're gonna go through this quick. Okay, Manny, I'm gonna need your help on this.
Yeah. Okay, no problem.
So my recommendation is first hire a professional, right?
Yes.
And Manny, if you don't mind, can you just text your information on the chat box? Because he has helped a lot of my clients. He doesn't want to come on. I beg them, like, please come on, because I want people to hear from you. And it's helped them in some simple ways. So it can help you to dispute. And I'm going to go through, oh Lord, now I remember this thing is a whole bunch of them. All right, let's move quickly. Let's move. Next one. Okay. So write letters in a 30-day turnaround, especially for old collections. This is why you need a professional to do that for you, because you don't remember the date, you don't remember the end date, the beginning date and the end date. They will do that for you. But if you say you want to do it yourself, good luck to that. Just write, you have to write them to dispute the letter in a 30-day session. Next slide, please. Settle collections. Okay, I know Manny has some stuff on this that, be careful on what to settle, which is why you need a professional to tell you, okay, even if you're going to settle the collections, can you get them to give you a deletion letter? And if they can't get you a deletion letter, can they show you paid? whatever it is, it's not all the banks that's going to agree to deletion letters. As me and Manny have gone through with some of these files. But that's where you want to start with. But if you can settle the collections, an old collection, I still did it for somebody the other day. They had an old $11,000 collection. And we call, I'm like, look, this is old. You guys have already written this off, but we want to take it off our account. What are you going to do? And I got them to agree to like $1,800. And they tell us they're going to delete it. So sometimes you can do that. Sometimes you're not going to get that. You're going to get them 80% or whatever that may be. But again, having a professional, I was kind of like a mini pro next to the client. So we're able to get something done. Next slide. This is like in the really, really big files, bankruptcies, foreclosures. And again, you can't do this by yourself. You've got to get a professional to do it. You can seek a lawsuit to remove lien items like foreclosure, short sales, and bankruptcies. It will cost you a pretty penny, but if you're really intention about getting stuff off your credit and living the best life, again, we're talking about living the best life. It doesn't matter what's happened to you yesterday. What are you going to do to get yourself back to 800 FICO score and moving forward? Next slide. Okay, all right. So everybody knows where I am. So you can take that off. So now we can go back to a little Q&A. Anybody have questions? I have many on the line. Anybody have questions?
Yes, I do have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, this is for like how many credit cards do you think we need to have in order to keep our credits in a good record? Like how many credit cards?
Minimum, you want to have 3 to 5 open active credit cards.
Okay. 3 to 5.
Yes.
Okay.
3 to 5. Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's what I want to know.
All right.
And like
I have a
another
question too.
Okay.
Oh, go
Okay.
ahead.
Like if you are self-employed, how do
Okay.
you do to work with your credit to get a house? That's another question that is the burden. Like
So
I
if you're
have
self-employed?
1099. Yeah, 1099.
Okay, those are two different questions. One is a lender question.
Yes,
The other
the
one is
other one.
okay. So what I can tell you is anytime you have over 700 FICO score, it gives you opportunity. Self-employed, we've had self-employed people, so long as they're over 700, there are more choices of financing for them.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
So are
Okay,
you
thank you.
are you wasting your time when you're dealing with companies that are trying to clean your credit?
Is this a question for me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on if you're using certain types of companies. Like there's a lot of online credit repair companies I'm sure you guys have heard of, like Lexington Law, creditrepair.com, Ovation Law. So these companies, they're not even law firms, okay? They're owned by marketing companies. Like Lexington and creditrepair.com is the same company. They're owned by a company called Progression. And what these guys do, their whole model is to drag out your process. So let's say you have 10 negative items on each credit bureau, okay? When you come in, they say you have 30 negative items. So they only dispute 3 items a month. So how long is that going to take, right? So people they get, they get to come in because the payments are so small. They're thinking I could afford that, but then you add up, $100 a month for 18 months. That's $1,800 you spend, and not much happened yet, right? The difference, I can just say what sets us apart from these companies is when we work on your credit, if you have 30 negative items, we dispute all of them at the same time. We also dispute all your hard business inquiries, your AKA names, which are important, and also your outdated mailing addresses. So a lot of people say, well, what does my mailing address have to do with my FICO score? And I'm like, well, if you have bad credit and an attorney wants to sue you, they can sue you at any address in the state of California. That's why I work on those to get them off, so they can come to you directly, and then you have a chance to fight it. If you didn't have a chance to fight it, now you have judgments against you that you didn't even know about
Wow.
because they sued you at an old address. Okay, so these are things that I do different.